It's the 13th of June, and Tehran is under attack.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival.
Iran fired back. For 12 days, the world held its breath as the two mortal enemies traded blows.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program.
They started this, Iran's supreme leader said.
ما به اونها اجازه نخواهیم داد که از این جنایت بزرگی که انجام دادن خودشون رو سالم خلاص کنن.
Iran has long been a state sponsor of terror, accused of sowing discord around the world, including in Australia. It armed Hamas and Hezbollah and threatened to wipe Israel off the map. Israel claimed the regime was on the brink of building a bomb.
You have the coordinates?
Which Tehran has always denied.
ما اعتقاد به بمب اتم نداریم، به سلاح اتمی نداریم. دنبالش هم نخواهیم رفت.
Israel attacked and the US joined in, dropping bunker busters on nuclear sites deep underground.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime.
In the process, more than 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium went missing. We've been granted rare access to the Islamic Republic, but we have government minders.
I mean, is it the Revolutionary Guard that's stopping us?
The regime battered, but the rhetoric defiant.
It was a coward act of terrorism, a combination of assassination, terrorist tactics, and war crimes.
This is a monster that thinks that it can kill whoever it likes, whoever it decides, whenever it wants. This is undermining world order.
The ceasefires held, but no one thinks this war is over.
In the wake of Benjamin Netanyahu's 12-day war against Iran, foreign correspondent is in the Islamic Republic to ask whether Israel is any safer, the world in this region any safer, or this regime any weaker, or whether it's all just galvanized Tehran's resolve to build a bomb.
During the war, those who could afford it fled this vast, congested city. Now, Tehran's streets are full again. Everywhere, faces of Iran's new martyrs stare out. The generals, fast-tracked to paradise. In Shia Islam, you're honored as a martyr if you're killed in battle or defending the faith. The 12-day war left 1,200 martyrs. On day 2 of the war, a traffic camera in Tehran recorded this. First, a building explodes up the street. Then, a millisecond later, the second strike. It hit a water main. Iran said 17 were killed in total, including a 3-year-old child and a pregnant woman.
Well, here we are on the junction of Bahonar Street running that way and Shariati running across it. And this is the exact spot where those incredibly dramatic pictures were taken. In fact, the camera which shot them is mounted on a post just across the road there. Now, the second missile struck on the other carriageway there when the cars were waiting at a red light. You can still see the damage to that building there. The first strike, which happened just a fraction of a second earlier, took out the top 3 floors of a building just up there.
At street level, there'd been a local bank branch.
So the bank was in the bottom of the building there, and then those upper floors belonged to a mosque organisation. And the question really, though, is whether it could also have been a secret rendezvous point for senior Revolutionary Guard commanders. Either way, it took a big hit.
"18-year-old Ali works in a fruit juice shop across the road.
من خاطر میلرزی رفتم اون بر. آره ما خودم با چشمون دیدیم رفتیم اون بر دیدیم ماشین رو هوان اثبات و ماشین و هم اصلا خوب نبود. اصلا من خودم که جنازه دیدم تا حالا جنازه دست نزد میترسم.
Do you have any idea why the Israelis targeted this building?
چند نفر مشتریمون بودن میومد از ما خرید کنن. حالا ازش نپرسیدم که شما اینجا چه شغلی دارید چه شغلی ندارید. با اینجا رو که زدن فهمیدم که اینجا مال دولتی نبود دولتی بود. مردم بعضی اینا میومدن اینجا جلسه داشتن با هم صحبت می‌کردن واسه این کار.
The scale and intensity of Israel's attacks were unprecedented. In 12 days, 360 strikes across 27 provinces. Iran unable to shoot a single Israeli fighter aircraft down.
The Israelis clearly had a densely populated bank of targets ready to go. Aside from nuclear installations, air defences and missile launch sites, they managed to decapitate Iran's military command structure, killing more than 35 senior generals, sometimes in simultaneous strikes. And this was the home of one of Iran's nuclear scientists.
Dr. Abdulhamid Minasher, head of the nuclear engineering faculty at a nearby university, was killed with his wife and his daughter and 8 other people in his block. You really didn't want to live next to an Iranian nuclear scientist. Morteza did.
بسیار وحشتناک. جنازش دقیقاً دم اون دیوار پیدا شد. این دیوار که اونجاست. نصفه اینا آدم که نمیشه بهشون گفت. کسانی هستن که براشون هیچی مهم نیست. نه بچه، نه بزرگ. و هیچ کس رحم نمی‌کنه به خاطر اون منافعشون. و نه تنها اسرائیل، امریکا هم همینطوره.
The final resting place of many of Iran's martyred nuclear scientists is here at the popular 700-year-old Imamzadeh Saleh Shrine in North Tehran. That's Abdulhamid Minasher with the ponytail, whose house we just left. And here lies Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, dubbed Iran's Oppenheimer, the alleged father of a covert program to build a bomb. Around 20 nuclear scientists are believed to have been assassinated by Israel over 15 years. The regime was keen for us to visit a museum on the outskirts of town. Not just any museum. This one showcases Iran's ballistic missiles. These were the workhorses of the war. 550 of them were fired at what they call the Zionist aggressor. Israel's worst nightmare is one of these armed with a nuke. Iran's had a nuclear program since the 1950s for power generation. It ratified the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty in 1970.
We would be ready to declare a non-nuclear zone.
The Islamic Revolution of 1979 changed everything. In 2001, the Supreme Leader said the Islamic Republic's mission was to erase Israel from the map. Iran was famously branded part of the axis of evil by George W. Bush as a state sponsor of terror.
By seeking weapons of mass destruction, these regimes pose a grave and growing danger.
That same year, Iran's covert nuclear program was uncovered.
Horrifying weapons of mass destruction program of the Iranian regime.
Strict UN sanctions were imposed until Tehran reluctantly agreed to allow international weapons inspectors into the country and to reduce enrichment. In 2018, Trump pulled out of that deal.
America will not be held hostage to nuclear blackmail.
In response, Tehran accelerated its program, ending up with 408 kilograms of highly enriched uranium. The UN's atomic watchdog declared Iran in breach of its obligations.
You are the only country in the world.
Just as critical nuclear talks between the US and Iran were about to start. The next day, Israel attacked. Any interviews in Iran have to be approved by the regime. One person they were keen for us to speak to has an historic link to this building, the former US Embassy. When students took more than 50 Americans hostage during the Islamic Revolution and held them here for 444 days, their spokesperson...
This was a den of espionage, where they were plotting against the Iranian people.
...was Masumeh Ebtekar. The embassy is now the Den of Espionage Museum. She rose to become Iran's vice president. What's your view of Benjamin Netanyahu's repeated claim that Iran was on the verge of building a nuclear bomb?
It's paradoxical, because this claim is coming from a country that has known nuclear arsenal. Everybody knows that they have the nuclear arsenal. Everybody knows that they're not a member of the NPT. They have no inspection. They have total impunity. And they're doing whatever they want. When Russia attacked Ukraine, there was an uproar in the West, and they not only condemned it, but they also sanctioned Russia. Well, the Israeli Zionist regime had a preemptive attack against Iran. It's exactly the same equation. It's a very similar analogy.
Why does a country with a peaceful nuclear energy program need such highly enriched uranium?
Well, the last time that Iran enriched uranium to that level, they had the opportunity to make a good deal under the JCPOA.
So it's a bargaining chip?
It could be a bargaining chip. Why not?
Two-thirds of Israel's airstrikes hit targets outside Tehran.
We're heading north now, across the Alborz mountain range, the route by which the people of Tehran escaped the suffocating summer heat.
We're heading to the Caspian Sea coast. This was also the route Tehranis took to escape the war. It's a different world up here, and it's 10 degrees cooler. Middle-class Iranians, hurting from rampant inflation, are still managing family holidays.
اینجا مسافتمون خیلی طولانیه. 1000 و تقریبا 100 کیلومتر باید بیان. اینجا را کم میایم.
های. آجی تلویزیون پخش می‌کنی اینا رو؟ حداقل وایس من اوکی بشیم. لباس عوض نکردیم.
On the very last night of the war, the serenity of the Caspian coast was shattered. Nowhere, it seemed, was safe from Israel's strikes. The target was another nuclear scientist. Israel had tried to kill him on the first night of the war in his Tehran home. They missed him, but killed his 17-year-old son. The scientist and his wife headed to their Caspian hometown to bury him.
Having failed to kill him first time round in Tehran, and having obviously figured out that they'd missed, they made no mistake at their second attempt. At 1:10 in the morning of the 24th of June, at least 5 Israeli missiles slammed into the ancestral family home of Dr. Saeed Mohammad Reza Sadeghi Sabr. Killed him and 14 other people, and wounded 33.
Syed Ali lived opposite. His house had been destroyed, but his family had survived. He's a paramilitary with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Many were children, he said, and all to get one man. This was the work of a Mossad spy, he said.
به دینش به اسلامش به وطنش خوش رحم نکرد به بچه محل خوش رحم به همزبانی خوش رحم نکرد آدم فروشی کرد اون دیگه چی از اون داشته باشه اصلاحی که جنایت اصلاحی که جنایت کرد.
You know, it's no wonder the regime was so stunned by the sheer reach of Israeli intelligence and the precision of these strikes. However, they did it through hacking mobile phones, data network analysis, satellite tracking, or even through deep cover agents on the ground. They got their man. "40 days had passed since the missile struck the Sadeghi Sabr family home. Portraits of the children killed in the attack lined the roadsides. Above the remains of the family car, it says, "Evidence of the crimes of the Zionist regime." Tonight, at the local mosque,
there'd be a memorial for all those who died. With Big Brother looking on, mourners gathered. Revolutionary guards in uniform dotted around, an Ayatollah at the back. Hassan's sister had been married to the scientist.
پدرم، مادرم، خواهرم به همراه همسرش.
He sat and listed everyone he'd lost. 12 members of his family.
نمیدونستم این اسمانی سری که خالی کنم. اون موقع است که همه چیز براتون تیر و تار میشه.
In the time we've been here, the regime has relentlessly pursued its hunt for spies. Iran was embarrassed by what even its own officials called unprecedented infiltration. State media reported 21,000 arrests during the war alone. Prisoners were paraded on TV. Some of those arrested were reportedly senior officials and military officers. Trials were fast-tracked with speedy executions. During the war, the regime went into survival mode. The aging supreme leader went into hiding. Senior officials and ministers kept a low profile.
The Islamic Republic's position.
Ismail Bagai, a former senior nuclear negotiator, is foreign ministry spokesman and vice minister.
How do you explain how Iran was so effectively infiltrated by Israeli intelligence to the degree that they knew the locations of your senior generals and your nuclear scientists?
Of course, they are exaggerating about their capabilities. It's part of cognitive war, psychological war that has been accompanying their military warfare against Iran. We know that they have been using their technological know-how and also using their friends' capacity and capabilities to target our people, to target our infrastructure.
Can you tell me how many Iranians were arrested and executed in what was essentially a witch hunt for spies?
I don't know the exact figure. I think no country, no nation allows betrayal. And betrayal during wartime is not forgiven by any nation or by any person. We had to deal with those spies, those who provided information to our enemies very harshly.
Israel's justification for the war was that Iran was on the verge of building a nuclear bomb.
Can anyone really believe that?
Unsurprisingly, the Iranians dispute this.
Israel has waged an unending war on our region. Consecutive wars, literally speaking, Israel has fought with all neighboring countries. So it's apparent, especially this government, they cannot survive in the absence of war and tension.
Can you explain to me why a country that maintains that it has a peaceful nuclear program actually needs 408 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium?
I know there is criticism, but this is also part of these double standards, that the Iranian nuclear program that is under the most robust inspection regime by IAEA receives so much attention from the international community. Why? Because Israelis, as part of their institutionalized paranoia, fear that sometimes in the future that peaceful facilities may be used to make nuclear weapon. We never said, our leaders never said that we are going to make nuclear weapon, because you are talking about a nation of principles. It is our principle that WMD is inhumane.
I asked him what he thought Israel had achieved in launching the attack.
I think Israel achieved a lot in terms of managing to torpedo a diplomatic process that was supposed to be very promising. We were hit at the middle of a diplomatic process. From that, I think Israel managed to render a serious blow to rule of law at the international level.
Over the course of our visit, we've heard a lot of outrage and accusations of double standards. And I'm not sure this regime feels any more defeated than before. Perhaps our next destination would put things in perspective.
Well, it is one of the more unusual itineraries. Tehran one day, Tel Aviv the next. But here we are. The nightmare unfolding in Gaza is happening about 50 or 60 kilometers down the beach in that direction. And who'd have thought it, looking at this?
Not so long ago, Iran's ballistic missiles were smashing into this metropolis. Of the hundreds fired at Israel, more than 1 in 10 got through its formidable defenses. 31 were killed. Iran hit Israeli military headquarters, army and air force bases, infrastructure, and residential property. This middle-class suburb was hit just before dawn. 4 houses destroyed, 3 dead.
Where is the picture of Be'eri?
Michal David and her husband lived opposite and had to run to their shelter.
At 5:14, as I can show you on the clock, this clock fell on the floor and the battery.
So that is the actual time the thing hit.
This is the actual time where the blast wave entered our house. This is the point where our life changed.
Do you think Netanyahu was right to attack Iran?
Of course, we are not going to keep silent when you are attacking us, and when you are planning and saying that you are going to destroy us. We will destroy you first. It's the first thing of the Bible. If someone is coming to kill you, kill him before. So all the people that were killed in Iran are people who are part of the plan of destroying Israel. So I have a lot of anger, and I want you to be very much balanced about what happens there and what happens here. We live here. We raised our children on peace, and they raised the kids how to kill Israeli, how to kill Jewish. We have to defend ourselves because Israel should be forever and ever.
There's a lot of pride in Israel over its targeting in Iran. Rami Igra was a senior Mossad official and a station chief all over the world. He's not a desk guy. I told him Iranians were shocked by the Mossad's reach.
Did it surprise you?
Not really. Iran is built of many populace, of all kinds of people, and of a big opposition to the current government or the current regime in Iran. Now, this opposition in Iran is not only fueled by hatred, but also by poverty. And these two elements make it very easy for Israel or for anyone else to recruit agents through the internet under all kinds of pretenses. It doesn't really have to be in the name of Israel. It could be in any name that makes you want to work for that other side on the internet.
Is it all data network analysis, satellite tracking, mobile phones? I mean, what technology is used in this?
All of it.
So it's less about deep cover agents.
It's not deep cover agents. You don't need the Mataharis of this world. They don't exist anymore. What you need is an expendable person on the other side that is willing to work for a cause or for money and do all kinds of small missions that all together make a big mission.
But that in itself was not winning the war, was it?
No, I don't think they won the war. If you ask me, this war did not achieve what the leaders in Washington and Jerusalem said. It did not touch the capability of Iran to use the enriched uranium that it has, 408 kilograms, into a nuclear bomb. It maybe it pushed the Iranian regime into trying to do that.
We're heading towards a place whose very existence incenses the Iranian regime. For years, it was known as a textile factory. It's in Israel's southern Negev desert. It turns out that it was actually a nuclear research facility. 40 years ago, a whistleblower revealed that there was an undeclared nuclear weapons program there. It's blisteringly hot. And just over there lies the Dimona facility. It's forbidden to film it. A surveillance blimp is watching us.
Israel still officially sticks to its policy of nuclear ambiguity, neither confirming or denying that Dimona here is where this country's weapons-grade plutonium is produced. It's about the world's worst-kept secret. Israeli journalists, when they talk or write about Israel's alleged nuclear arsenal, are forced by military censors to cite foreign press reports. And as a member of the esteemed Foreign Press Corps here, I can tell you that even the most conservative estimates of international nuclear experts put Israel's nuclear arsenal at upwards of 90 warheads.
But while Iran accuses Israel of hypocrisy, truth be told, Israel's never threatened to wipe Iran off the map. What's not in question is that Iran was enriching to alarming levels. The day before the war, the UN's Atomic Agency stated it was a serious concern, but found no evidence that Iran was actively building a nuclear weapon. Danny Citrinovitz spent 25 years in Israeli defense intelligence, ending up heading the desk on Iran's nuclear program. I asked him if he believed Iran had indeed been close to building a nuclear bomb.
So the bottom line of things that it wasn't an existential threat, but definitely Iran probably crossed some red lines in terms of the nuclear military route.
So you just said it was not an existential threat?
It was not in the term that Iran wasn't on the verge of building a bomb. If Netanyahu's claim that Iran was on the verge of building a nuclear bomb, putting it on a missile and destroying Israel by nuclear means, the answer is no.
What do you think Israel achieved in attacking Iran?
First and foremost, actually decapitating the senior defense leadership of Iran. All those figures actually were very important in the decision-making process in Iran. So actually it was a major achievement because Iran couldn't implement the plan that it has in order to attack Israel. So that was a major achievement. The other side also connected to the nuclear enrichment sites, when Israel, together with the US, of course, actually almost destroyed all of the enrichment sites in Iran. But, and this is a big but, and we have to emphasize on that, Israel didn't achieve two major issues. First, it didn't change the regime. And from the nuclear side, Iran still has capabilities. I'm not sure that we are safe in a safer domain right now. Because in the end of the day, Iran still have nuclear capabilities and still have the ability to attack Israel from using its missiles and launchers.
And the regime's still there, and it's actually no weaker.
And the regime definitely is not weaker. We have to understand that the regime has mounting problems. But in terms of Israel undermining the regime by attacking it from the air, actually what happened is quite the opposite.
During the war, Netanyahu made a direct appeal to the Iranian people.
The proud people of Iran. As we achieve our objectives, we're also clearing the path for you to achieve your objective, which is freedom.
Three years ago, Iran was engulfed by protests led by women, calling for an end to this regime. The regime remained in place. And despite some easing of restrictions on women's dress code, it's still dangerous to speak out. So before we set foot in this country, we commissioned a team of local filmmakers to secretly interview ordinary Iranians to see what they really thought about this war. This is Mona, not her real name. She's in the beauty industry. We've changed her voice to protect her.
یه سری ها رو میدیدم که خیلی خوشحال بودن. یه سری از دوستام، شاید یه سری از اونایی که باهاشون حرف میزدم میگفتن که بالاخره تموم میشه. بالاخره کاری که این چند سال انجام نشده رو اسرائیل دیگه انجام میده و تمومش میکنه.
Mona says she's disappointed that the people did not rise up.
هنوز ناامید نیستن، میگن دوباره جنگ میشه. میریزیم بیرون، این دفعه دیگه تغییرش میدیم.
Ava works in the arts.
ما سالها منتظر این لحظه بودیم. ما همیشه سرکوب شدیم ولی هیچی تغییر نکرده و صدای ما هیچ وقت شنیده نشده. وقتی که جنگ شروع شد ما امیدوار شدیم که خدایا یعنی میشه بالاخره تموم شه این درد و رنج. ببین هیچ کس از بیرون نمیتونه بیاد و ما رو نجات بده. و در نهایت این ما مردم ایرانیم که باید قدم برداریم برای رسیدن به هدفمون و اون چیزی که میخوایم و آرزومونه.
The embittered, badly bruised Iranian regime is licking its wounds. Israel has not ruled out another attack. No one thinks this war is over.